Pray with me. Gracious and holy God, before the light of your word, may our hearts be illuminated by your grace and truth. Amen. Please be seated. Get lit. Get fired up. Burn the candle at both ends. Burn the midnight oil. We have a passion for fire as a metaphor for energy, for accomplishment, for achievement. We love to see people burning with passion, with interest, with success. But we also have a phrase that we've developed as a consequence: burn out. Modern life loves to light us on fire, but leaves us in dust and ashes, spent. Life in the world demands our fire, but leaves us burned over, dry, and desiccated. The story that the Lord tells is different. This is the beginning of the season of Lent, but it's the beginning of a much longer season for which we focus on the Paschal mystery, the life that Christ has given to us through his own death, burial, and resurrection. And so the 6 weeks of Lent, from Ash Wednesday to Holy Week, are swallowed up by the 7 weeks of Easter, from Easter Sunday to Pentecost. And where the world would like us to burn and leaves us with nothing but ashes, God takes our ashes and brings us to Pentecostal fire. So let's back up a little bit and talk about the things that consume us. In the Eden story, our first parents were tempted to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because it was, in the words of Genesis, good for food and a delight to the eyes and to be desired to make one wise. At the other end of the Bible, in the New Testament, the first letter of John summarizes it this way: the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. We might put it this way: human beings strive to find fulfillment, well-being, and significance in life by satisfying our desire for creature comforts, acquiring possessions, and securing the esteem of others around us. In pursuit of these ends, we often burn and often burn out. Against these self-motivated impulses, Jesus offers us a 3-part prescription, practices which have long informed our Lenten observances. These are fasting, giving, and praying. Fasting pries us loose from the tyranny of our appetites. How often are our moods driven by whether or not we get our way? You ever heard the word hangry? I bet you've experienced it. It's easy to see in others and not so easy to see in ourselves. Feed me or else. My feelings and my behavior too often controlled by whether I'm getting what I think I need. How many marriages, how many friendships have been damaged or destroyed because one or the other person felt that all of their needs were not being met by the other? Fasting is a bucket of ice-cold water dumped on the notion that in order to be a good and holy person, my burning desires must first be satisfied. If fasting frees me from the hunger for comfort, giving liberates me from the need for novelty. Whether we're talking about the acquisition of material possessions or exciting new experiences or collecting relationships, the need to continually move on to the next thing, to satisfy my senses with what's bigger and brighter and newer, rightfully earns for us moderns the title consumer. Giving alms, providing for the poor and vulnerable, reminds us that there are far greater depths to be found in the life of the human beings on our doorstep than in all the selfies taken in front of the Grand Canyon with our brand new camera phone. Retail therapy is itself a disease, as in dis-ease. Healing is found, peace is discovered when we give up the pursuit of the shiny new thing and find wonder instead in the image of God revealed in every human person. Most of all, Lent is the time for toppling pride. If anything drives our sinful harming of ourselves, our neighbors, and our home on earth, it is the need within us that wants to be the center of the universe. There's a story about Paul Newman when he first started his acting career. He got a little bit part in a movie, all of 10 seconds, where he plays a grocery delivery boy. And a friend of his asked him, well, what's the movie about? And he said, oh, it's great. It's all about this guy who goes around delivering groceries all day long. Now, that's the kind of egoism that makes for compelling viewing by an audience. But not if everyone in the audience feels the same way about themselves. Our sense of significance, of personal meaning and worth, too often becomes captive to how other people see me or not, esteem me or not. Prayer is like a personal Copernican revolution. It removes me from the center of the universe and resets my relationship to my Creator, acknowledging that it is we who revolve around God and not the other way around. And paradoxically, it is here that we find our true significance and worth, when we stop playing King of the Mountain and accept the freedom of knowing that the one who made us and the mountain and every other thing loves us with an everlasting love. By embracing these disciplines, fasting, giving, praying, we can quit trying to hide the ashes of our own efforts to matter, to mean something. Instead, like the wick of a candle, which burns but is not consumed because it is animated from within, we also will thrive when we cease trying to make our own heat and light, but burn with God's own Pentecostal fire. And in a cold and dark world, we will shine and give warmth through God's grace alone. Amen.